From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
LALATE. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues with LALATE later after this broadcast. The President of the United States will be addressing the American people at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in a rare event, I will be covering that live broadcast tonight after this recording. You're currently watching Evenings LALATE at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will deliver a special report, live coverage of the President's bicameral State of the Union congressional address. And then after that, we go into LA Late Night. That's the irreverent, humor-only broadcasts from Sirloin and Javita Late. So 2 more shows coming up tonight. After this one, I will have the live address of the President, and then we go into Sirloin and Javita Late. How are you? It's a big night, and if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Wow. So before the President's address, which is coming up in less than an hour from now, I have all the details for you about what he's going to be announcing. In tonight's 5th stimulus package, also called the American Family Plan, or formerly the American Teachers Plan, the President will provide the following in his announcement. He's proposing $225 billion towards high-quality child care and ensuring that families only have to pay a portion of income towards child care services. $225 billion to create a national comprehensive paid family and medical leave program. $200 billion for free universal preschool for 3 to 4-year-olds. $109 billion ensuring 2 years of free community college for all students. $85 billion towards Pell Grants, and increasing the maximum award to about $1,400 for low-income students. $62 billion for grant to increase college retention and completion rates. And $39 billion to give 2 years of subsidized tuition for families making less than $125,000 enrolled in a 4-year historically black college university or minority-served institution. So let me tell you, I've only gone through half of that so far. There's a lot more still coming up. Let me explain what's going on with those provisions so far. First, he's allowing that if you want to send a kid to preschool for 3 to 4-year-olds, it will be free for all American families. Free preschool for 3 to 4-year-olds for all American families. Second, he's going to make it free to go to community college for 2 years for all students of all income levels. And let me give you my opinion of the situation. I don't understand why we are paying to send rich kids to community college for free. If they can afford community college, why are we subsidizing to send rich people to community college? That's what he's doing. $109 billion to send rich kids to community college. Okay. And also $200 billion to send newborn children of rich people to preschool. Also really not quite clear. Then when we go to the subsidized tuition, he's saying that if an individual makes $125,000, he wants to provide them free money to send their kid to college. They're making six figures a year as a single individual, and he wants to give them money to send their kid to college, even though they make six figures a year. So far, I want to see your comments, and I'm in the live chat, so say hi. Hi, how are you? But I want to see your comments about giving money to rich kids to go to community college, to giving rich parents money to send their 3 to 4 year olds to preschool, and giving single individuals who make six figures to send their kids to college for free. Interesting. Then we have $45 billion towards increasing EBT. I love this. This is more SNAP money. We could absolutely increase SNAP across the board. SNAP has been really the one big success across the board. SNAP was increased by the prior administration for 15% for 6 months, and then this administration for another 6 months. So SNAP is increased for a full 1 year. They could increase SNAP for 1 to 2 more years until we're fully out of this pandemic. They should also be extending PEBT, but I love this. Then $200 billion to make permanent the low health insurance premiums. So this is a healthcare provision. It's in the third stimulus package. I didn't ever go over it too much, but this is to help lower the healthcare costs that were put in onto third stimulus. And then extending, here's the polarizing one, extending through 2025 and making permanently fully refundable the child care tax credit. So this is what I've been detailing to you over the last 2 weeks. Let's go over the history of that and where we are right now and how that could still get modified. I had told you that currently $3,600 is being paid approximately to 17 to newborns starting the month of July because of COVID. Well, the president over several weeks ago asked his staff to consider making this a permanent provision, meaning that anyone over 17 years, the first 17 years of their life, would get $3,600, which amounts to nearly $70,000 a person. The White House's staff pushed back. It's presuming that this guy is the one that pushed back on the president and said you can't do 17 years of $3,600, you have to do less. And so ultimately, the president agreed, for purposes of the fifth stimulus package, that he would do it for 6 years, $24,000. $24,000, which is approximately $3,600 over 6 years. Well, here's what you also have learned from this channel in the last 24 hours. House member Richard Neal, head of the Ways and Means Committee, who is singularly critical for drafting any legislation because his subcommittee has a lot of legislation to do in all these stimulus packages, yesterday introduced his bill, which is never going to see a light of day, but introduced his bill version of this, which is to pay the children not 6 years, but exactly the 17 years the president wanted. Is this ironic? Was this tied up this time? Because it just sounds ironic. The president won 17 years. His staff said, don't do it, do 6 years. And now the person who's going to write the president's bill introduces his bill to do it for 17 years. 17 years at $3,600 is $74,000 a person for newborn to age 17. Interesting. Then it's also going to make permanent the recent expansion of the child care and dependent care tax credit. Okay, well, let me explain what that is. I detailed that on this channel before. That certainly makes sense. I don't know if I agree upon the income levels of it. That is the other child care tax credit. Remember where I said if you have child care costs, which are going to child care centers, then they would allow you to deduct up to a certain amount of them every year. 50% of them, I think it was up to $7,000, $8,000 per year if you're under a certain income level. He's proposing that to be a permanent change to the tax code. I think it's great, so long as the income level is lower. And then finally, making permanent the earned income tax credit for childless workers. So this is the hazard pay-ish earned income tax credit, which I've told you over since third stimulus. It became, under third stimulus, they raised the earned income tax credit, which has been around for decades, to $1,700. No, excuse me, $1,504 if you made less than $25,000 and you're 19 years or older. All they did was they modified the earned income tax credit from, I think it was previously a few $100s. Now it's $1,504 for the tax year 2021. If you make less than $25,000, you're 19 years or older. This provision is to make that permanent. I think it's fine. I think it should be higher. I think this is good. I think this is very good. So you're probably going to ask, how is this going to be paid for? How is this going to be paid for? Chips and salsa? No. Here are the details. First, he's going to increase the highest tax rate for personal tax returns from 37%. The highest tax bracket will raise from 37% to 39.6%. Not a particularly big jump, only 2.5% change. But this will cover married couples who make $600,000 a year. Wait a second. So if married couples who make $600,000 a year, that means, let's do the math, that means one of them makes $300,000, the other makes $300,000. He said he was not going to change the tax rate for anyone who make less than $400,000. This is sort of mincing words. His campaign promise was no changes to the tax code if you make less than $400,000. Well, a married couple that makes $600,000 is basically $300,000 and $300,000. Not particularly consistent with his campaign promise. Then he's going to increase the capital gains tax to 39.6% if you make more than $1 million as a household, not as just an individual. So again, if you make $500,000, well, let me make it even worse. Household could be 4 people. So if there are 4 people in the household and they each made $250 last year, $250, $250, $250, $250, and they all appear on the same joint return, yeah, he's going to raise the capital gains taxes. As a husband and wife, $500. That's not what he promised during the campaign trail. He said he was only going to tax the super uber rich people that make several millions of dollars a year. Here he's going after people who make $500,000 a year. Interesting. In other news today, Dr. Scott Gottlieb, who always has a very interesting opinion about something, said that the new CDC mask guidelines released yesterday are late and confusing, but in a step in the right direction. Viewers agreed ostensibly on this channel as well. If you're outside in public with 1 or 2 friends and you're all vaccinated, you can take your mask off, the CDC yesterday said. I think they were already doing that. I don't think they had to wait for the CDC to say you can take off your mask if there's 2 people and they're both vaccinated and you're in public. Meantime, a new report says Tesla owns $2.5 billion of Bitcoin. And meantime, the Federal Reserve is meeting this week, two days of meetings, and it's not going to change Fed policy. But here's what you need to know. The next meeting of the Federal Reserve will change Fed policy. Tony Crescenzi, PIMCO's executive vice president, says we're not expecting changes from Powell today or this week, but the next one, absolutely. They're running out of time, says Mark Zandi. The next time they will meet, they will need to acknowledge how strong the economy is. They need to start tapering asset purchases. The economy is busting out all over. We're going to see a lot of jobs, much lower employment. There's base effects on inflation, but it's going to be hard to ignore it. And then Crescenzi added, we still have a shortfall on not only 8.4 million jobs, but the 1.5 million that could be gained in the normal expansion. The Federal Reserve will have to start reducing accommodation if it wants. The Federal Reserve has made it clear it won't change interest rates until probably 2023. So let me explain that. They're basically saying no change from Jerome Powell this week for Fed policy. Great for stimulus. This is the big support for 4 stimulus checks, those multiple stimulus checks. But the next time the Federal Reserve meets, they're absolutely going to say they're going to ease supporting this economy. They have to. They say at that point, it has gone far too long. They'll have to ease. They will not turn the other direction, however, and raise interest rates. So that's why it's important to get stimulus to the finish line by July, because the Federal Reserve's next meeting is just around the corner. Meantime, thank you for joining me on a big night of a big breaking, developing details. If you're just joining me, let me recap where our programming schedule is going to be tonight. I'm going to be coming back to you in just about, I think it's almost 30 minutes from now, with the live coverage of the President's national address, the joint congressional session. This would normally be our programming schedule. I would normally not be back until 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with Late Night. But tonight, I'm back in 1 hour from now at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with a live broadcast of the President's joint congressional speech, in which he debuts his fifth stimulus and his fourth stimulus. And with that, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. Normally, this is the last informative video of the day. Sirloin and Javita Late is humor only. It is humor only. If you don't like humor, then that's not the show for you to watch. But there will be one more informative video, and that is live coverage of that presidential address. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling, and I'll see you back at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And stay with LA.